I'm going to be ranking the best point guards right now in NBA 2K23 Myteam. We have a tier list here ranking from S that goes all the way down to D tier, and we have about 30 to 35 of the best point guards in my team right now in Season 7. But let me know in the comment section down below your guys' favorite point guards to be running right now, and maybe some point guards you guys are looking to go after and add to your squad. But the first point guard here is going to be Dark Matter James Harden. I would say he's really good offensively. Defensively, though, I don't know. There's so many good point guards in the game, so I think Harden probably going to start us off in B tier for now. I really do like this James Harden card. I think he's super fun to use, being a 6'5" point guard, 6'10" wingspan. I always love James Harden cards in my team. I just don't know about his defense, but offensively, he's going to be one of the best offensive point guards in the game with his jump shot on very quick timing. I think it's a super quick jump shot, and then he's also got really good dribble sigs with the Harden size up and the Curry escape as well. So for me personally, I think for now, Harden going to be somewhere in that B tier category. Maybe he gets moved up to A tier later in the video. Gilbert Arenas, I would say, is probably that one tier below. I still really like Gilbert Arenas. I think he's a great offensive point guard. He could potentially be in B tier later in the video. Just going to start him off in C. I do think James Harden is slightly better at point guard. Ron Artest, easy A tier point guard. Now, he might be an S tier. I think he's really close to being a top 5 point guard, but for now, I just want to keep him in A tier because not 100% sure if he is a top 5 point guard, but the defense on this card is super elite. One of the best defensive point guards in my team, and then also does have a great jump shot as well. So Ron Artest, I think, gotta go in the A tier category. LaMelo Ball, I would say probably somewhere in C tier. He still does have a good jump shot, which is nice. It definitely is nice to have on a card, still a good release. He's 6'7" at the 1, 6'10" wingspan, but his jump shot is good. But his sigs really aren't the best. Like, he just moves really slow in game. If you guys have used this card before or maybe played against him, like, you've been able to see, it's just his sigs are like good, but he doesn't move that well in game. He moves really slow. Like, he moves like a center. So I do think he's probably going to be in C tier. Ben Simmons, I think, is one of the best, if not the best point guard in the game because of his size at the point guard position. 6'11", 7 foot wingspan, and probably is the best defensive point guard because of his defensive animations and also going to the basket. He just dunks on everybody. So I do think Ben Simmons easily going to be a top 5 point guard. Devin Booker, I would say, is probably somewhere in B tier. I kind of like him a little bit more than Harden just because he does have 50 Hall of Fame badges and he's basically an invincible card. So you're pretty much looking at invincible Devin Booker because once he gets his invincible card, there's not much they can really do, with his sigs. Maybe they'll give him like Steve Francis size up instead of Book size up. His jump shot's already super good. He's got one of the best fades in the game. So, I mean, this is pretty much invincible Devin Booker. Like, you can get 5 more Hall of Fame badges, which might be helpful, like, on defense to get, like, Chase an artist or brick wall, potentially maybe on Hall of Fame, maybe gets Rise Up on Hoff. That would be nice to see, but this is basically an invincible Devin Booker, and I think he's got to be somewhere at least in the B tier category. Magic Johnson, I think, is a top 5 point guard. I do like him a little bit more than Ron Artest. I think he's just a worse version of Ben Simmons, but still super elite because he is an invincible 55 Hall of Fame badges, 6'9" at the 1, 7 foot wingspan. We know he does have a really good player modeling game, 99 every single category. His jump shot is not great, but I don't think it's that terrible anymore, now that it's on very quick timing. And he's also got still really good dribble sigs with the Steve Francis size up and the John Wall escape. So I think for now, Magic gonna be somewhere in that S tier category. I do think he's a top 5 point guard. Cade, I would say, is probably B just because of his height at the point guard spot. He's 6'8" with a 7'1" wingspan and really good at getting to the basket, but his jump shot is really questionable, and his sigs are also very similar to a card like LaMelo's, where they're good sigs on paper, but he just moves super slow, for a point guard in game. Reggie Theus, I actually haven't seen too much of this card. I've seen a gameplay on him, but I haven't actually used this card in game. I'm just going to throw him in B tier for now. He might be A tier though. He honestly might be A tier because I'm assuming he's souped out. 6'7" at the 1, 6'10" wingspan. He's going to have 35 Hall of Fame badges, which is nice. His jump shot's going to be Sabian Lee, and then the default swing upper, which I think is pretty good. His sigs are solid. I mean, I would say this card, he's got great defensive tendencies, great tendencies in general. I don't know. I think he's probably going to be really close to A tier. I think he probably is better than Harden, Cade, and maybe Booker. So I think for now, I'll throw him in the A tier category. He might get moved down to B tier though later in the video. CJ McCollum, he's probably gonna have to be our first D tier point guard. Not to say that he's some like terrible point guard, but he's only gonna be 6'3" with a 6'6" wingspan. His defense isn't gonna be the best. He's not that great at going to the basket, and his jump shot is decent. And he also doesn't have like the best dribble style. He has the Ja Morant dribble style, which really isn't the greatest compared to the MJ or the Chris Paul. So I do think CJ gonna have to go somewhere in the D tier category. Steph Curry also I think is gonna have to be in D tier. Not to say he's necessarily a bad point guard, because I don't think, you know, CJ McCollum, I don't think Curry are necessarily bad cards. You can still use them in game and have a ton of success with, especially if you know how to use these cards, you know, to their best of advantages, like taking advantage of, you know, Curry's jump shot, his sigs, his three hunting ability. It's just compared to the best point guards in the game, I'm not sure if I can put them any higher than D tier. Maybe Curry could go C, but I would definitely take LaMelo and Gilbert Arenas over him. Next point guard is going to be the man I cannot pronounce. I think his first name is like Sarunas, and then something starts with an M. No idea how to say his name. I would say he's probably, I would say B or A tier. I think I'm gonna go B for now. He's a really good offensive point guard. Like, he does have the Kyle Korver base and the Vince Carter upper, so he's got a great jump shot on very quick time. He's got pretty good dribble sigs. Definitely could have used a better escape instead of Kobe. You know, the Trey escape, the Wall escape, the Curry escape is a lot better. I think this card's a good B tier point guard, very similar to a card like James Harden. Steve Francis, I think, might have to go D tier as well. Once again, just a little bit too short for point guard, only being 6'3" with I think a 6'6" wingspan. He's actually going to be a really fun card to use though. Like, he's great at getting to the basket. The Steve Francis size up, the Curry escape, like, he feels super quick in game and amazing at getting downhill. He can dunk the ball over pretty much anybody, has a very solid jump shot. I mean, the card's fun to use, and he's a great point guard. I just don't know if he's going to be any higher than C tier. I would say Jalen Green probably goes somewhere in C tier, a super athletic point guard, but his jump shot isn't the best, and for whatever reason, he looks super short in game. Like, he's listed at 6'6", but I think because of his player model, for me personally at least, he does look a little bit shorter. So I do think Jalen Green's still a really good offensive point guard. I just think he's probably going to be somewhere in C tier. Hedo Turkoglu, I'm going A. I think Hedo is still one of the better point guards in the game, being 6'10" with an elite level jump shot. The John Stockton base, the Trae Young upper on very quick timing is still a really good jump shot for a card who's 6'10" at point guard and is obviously going to have great size and very solid defense. So Hedo Turkoglu, I think I'm gonna put him somewhere in A tier. Jimmy Butler, I think, is going to be B. Still a really good defensive point guard. I would say like him, Devin Booker, Cade, all sort of on the same level at the point guard position. Nikola Jokic, easy S tier. You can definitely debate he is the best point guard. I think it's really close for me personally between him and Ben Simmons. It kind of just depends what you need at point guard, but Jokic does it all, man. 6'11" at the 1, 7'3" wingspan. He can be a good defender. He can play make. He can drive to the basket. He's got really good athleticism stats. His jump shot is super knocked down with the Eric Paschal base, the Oscar Robertson upper on very quick timing. He's got good dribble sigs, good dunk packages. He could use better defensive tendencies, but other than that, this card is pretty much a perfect point guard. So I think he's obviously going to be in that S tier category. J.R. Smith, I would say easy B tier. Great jump shot, good offensive card. Just nothing too crazy on point guard, you know, just doesn't do anything too crazy. So I think he's probably going to be somewhere in B tier. KPJ, even though I think he's got a great jump shot, probably has to be in C tier. He's still a great offensive point guard, has an amazing jump shot, one of my favorites in game. I would take probably Devin Booker, you know, Harden, these type of point guard cards over him, but I think he's really good for being in C tier. Luka Doncic, I personally think he's still a top 5 point guard just because of his jump shot being one of the best in the game, and he's one of the best offensive point guards, maybe even the best offensive point guard in the game. So I think for that reason, he's got to go in the S tier category. Manu Ginobili, same tier as J.R. Smith. I've always thought they're pretty much the exact same card. J.R. is a right-hander, Manu's a left-hander, and pretty much that's the only difference between the cards. I think Manu's got a slightly better jump shot, so they're very similar cards, and I think they both deserve to be in that B tier category. Harold Miner, same tier as KPJ. They're basically the same card. I do like KPJ's jump shot a tad bit more though, so if I had to rank the cards, you know, like between KPJ and Harold Miner, I would say KPJ for me is just a little bit better. Michael Jordan, another A tier card, just like Ron Artest, I think is super close to being in the S tier category, and I'm not 100% sure if these guys are top 5 point guards because there's only one spot left in S. So I think for now, I just want to keep them in A tier, but Michael Jordan, another amazing all-around point guard who can pretty much do everything at a super high level. Penny Hardaway, I would say is probably B tier. I like him a little bit more than Cade. I think he's just Cade with better dribble sigs and is a lot faster on the court because he's 6'7", Cade's 6'8", but Penny moves 10 times faster than Cade in game, and it's not like his dribble sigs are much better. I just think because of his, like, I don't know if it's his speed or it's just his running style, something like that in game. It's just he moves super quick compared to a card like Cade, so I think Penny gonna be also in the B tier category. Jalen Rose, I'll say B tier as well. A really good all-around point guard. He's 6'8", plays good defense, has a solid jump shot. I'm not sure if he's an A tier on the same tier as like a Reggie Theus, a Hiro Turkoglu, Ron Artest, MJ. I think he's going to have to be somewhere in B tier. Derrick Rose, very similar to a card like Steve Francis. I think they're pretty much the exact same card. Really good at getting to the basket, still have pretty good jump shots, great dribble sigs, just lack a little bit of size and defense as well. Shea, I would say, is another B tier to A tier point guard card. I think he's great at point guard, 6'6" with a good jump shot. I would say he might be an A tier. I do like him probably more than most of these point guards in B tier. Sean Livingston, I think, is another B tier point guard. I think he's just got a great jump shot, 6'7" at the one, does everything very, very well. Marcus Smart, I would say probably C tier for Smart. I still think he's a good point guard, but he's only 6'4", does have a 6'8" wingspan, and is going to give you great defense. Jump shot's still pretty good, sigs are solid. I would say he's probably somewhere in that high C tier category. Victor Oladipo, I would say is going to have to be in D tier. Dominique Wilkins, I think he's actually really good. Dominique Wilkins is actually super underrated at point guard. I haven't heard many people talking about this card, probably because he's very hard to obtain, but he's a really good point guard, 6'7" with a 6'10" wingspan. Obviously going to be an invincible card. I know his jump shot isn't the best, but this card going to the basket, man, he is pretty much unstoppable going to the rim. So I think for that factor of just him getting to the basket, I would say he's probably going to be an A tier. And then Lonzo Ball, I'll go C tier. Still plays like better defense than most of these cards at D tier and still has an okay jump shot, but I think he's probably going to have to be somewhere in C tier. And then, guys, for my last spot in the A tier category, I think it's going to be Ron Artest. I just like him a lot because of his jump shot. And then I also do want to move Shea into A tier. I also potentially want to move maybe one more card, but it's really hard to say because all these guys are super, super close. So let me know in the comment section down below, is there anybody from B tier you guys would move up into A on this type of point guard tier list? But I think this is going to round off my point guard tier list. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think? And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.